is finally gone, and we are ready to play ball. Game 2 of this day-night doubleheader between the Cleveland Guardians and the Pittsburgh Pirates. And someone other than the starting 5 is about to take the ball for the Guards here tonight.
For the first time all year, that will be Logan Allen making his first start of the season. As Matt just mentioned, he is now the first pitcher aside from the original starting 5 to make a start for the Guardians. And he's got his work cut out for him. This is the best offense in baseball, and we saw it in game 1. He's going to have to keep the ball down in the strike zone. Use that cutter to keep a lot of these right-handed hitters honest. But again, attack early in counts. Gavin Williams did a good job of getting ahead of guys, made a few mistakes, gave up a couple of home runs, and you have to keep this ball club in the yard.
Here's the starting lineup for Don Kelly's Buccos. Jake Mangum leads it off. Nick Gonzalez in the 2-hole. Brian Reynolds will bat third as Merlin Valdez batting cleanup. Then Ryan O'Hearn hits 5th. Marcell Ozuna, the DH, batting 6th. Then Brandon Lau, Rafael Flores, and Jared Triolo, the shortstop, hitting 9th. That'll give the Pirates 7 right-handed bats in there against the lefty Logan Allen. The big man Jim Wolf will be calling the balls and strikes tonight behind home plate. First base umpire is Alex McKay. Alan Porter is down at second, and John Bacon is your third base umpire. After a rain delay of 1 hour and 15 minutes, we're underway with the first pitch strike from Logan Allen. 79 degrees, our game time temperature. Interesting in that it looks like that breeze has turned around. It was blowing out early today. Now it almost looks like that wind is coming in off the lake, maybe knocking the ball down a little bit, going to right and right center field. It was the exact opposite early. If you got it in the air, it was flying to right and right center. It certainly was. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Jake Mangum fouls it back out of play. Guardians held Mangum off the bases in game 1. He was 0 for 5. Still a hefty .343 batting average in his last 38 games. Gets up on that high fastball, fouling it off to the right. Swing and a miss. There's the good changeup from Logan Allen.
Well, this was an excellent job of playing that top to bottom game. We talked about him being down in the strike zone. Right there works too. After that fastball up that Mangum fouled off, come back, pull the string. Just a fantastic job and a great start to this ball game.
Now Nick Gonzalez. He is batting .310, third best in the National League. And a slow roller up the gut, fielded by Bizana. Off balance throw is on the money. 2 down.
Well, defensively here in game 2 for the Guardians, you got Stephen Kwan in his customary left field position. P.D. Halpin making the start out in center, and David Fry in right for game 2. On the left side of the infield, Daniel Schneemann and Brian Rocchio. Travis Bizana, who you just saw made that nice play, and Reese Hoskins at first, and Austin Hedges doing the catching.
It does kind of feel like we should have a margarita at our side for this
I don't know
game.
why we don't, honestly.
Some Hawaiian shirts, maybe some flip-flops, shorts. Uh-oh, that's hit deep right center field. Racing back is DeLauder. It's over his head, or rather Fry. And he plays it well as it hit near the base of the wall. But Fry's throw not nearly in time to get Brian Reynolds, who has his 24th double on the year.
Well, unfortunately for Brian Reynolds, he went to the deepest part of right field there. Got himself a pitch. You could see the reaction from Logan there. That's a sweeper that did not get where he wanted it to. That ball stayed up and out over the plate. And in that corner, give Fry a little credit. Played that very nicely off the wall.
2 down, runner in scoring position for Esmerlin Valdez. He homered in the series opener earlier today. 17 runs batted in now in the month of July.
Well, we talked about it. He's got big time pop to all parts of the ballpark. showed that in game one. Got himself a pitch up out over the plate on a breaking ball and got it up into that wind that we just talked about.
High pop. Shallow left. In comes Kwan. And makes the grab. No runs, one hit, one left. And the Guardians are coming to bat. So it'll be Travis Bazzana in the leadoff spot, followed by Brian Rocchio. Chase DeLauder, the DH, will hit third. Rhys Hoskins, Daniel Schneemann, and David Fry occupy the middle third, followed by Petey Halpin, Austin Hedges, and Stephen Kwan batting ninth.
Making his 5th start of the season is Mason Montgomery. Came over in a trade this offseason along with Brandon Lowe, the second baseman from the Tampa Bay Rays. This is another guy in this Pittsburgh bullpen / rotation that'll run it up there to 100 miles an hour. You're going to see a lot of fastballs, so you got to be ready to hit the heater against this guy.
Bazzana was 1 for 4 with a double and drove in Cleveland's only run in the first game of our double dip. He's ahead in the count, 2-0. And he takes ball 3. And you know, Chris, Bazzana's already had 5 games in which he's walked 2 or more times. And I feel like, as aggressive as he is, nothing wrong with taking her walks.
Not at all.
And maybe tempering that aggressiveness a little bit once in a while.
Especially if he's in that leadoff spot. He's going to have to learn to continue to see the baseball and work counts, work at bats. That's a great job of him. 4 straight pitches, really nowhere near the zone. Well, defensively in game 2 here for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Brian Reynolds out in left field, Jake Mangum in center, and Esmeralyn Valdez in right. On the left side of the infield is Nick Gonzalez, Jared Triolo, Brandon Lowe at second base, Ryan O'Hearn at first, and doing the catching this evening for game 2 is Rafael Flores Jr.
Ryan Rocchio hitless in 4 trips to the plate earlier today, trying to help Cleveland get off to a fast start. And Montgomery delivers. Rocchio pops it in the air to right near the line. Valdez makes the catch. 1 down.
If he hits that same ball in game 1, you could be looking at something real fun there. That's how much the wind has changed here between the 2 games.
It is a stark contrast. The wind has really picked up and blowing straight in. Now Chase DeLauder. Lefty-lefty matchup. DeLauder takes low, ball 1. DeLauder swinging a hot bat. He's hit in 19 of his last 21 games. Over his last 8 games, a double, 4 homers, 7 runs batted in.
Well, much like we talked about with Jared Jones, trying to pull Mason Montgomery is not the greatest thought process for an offensive player.
Challenge coming, and it might be too late. It was very close to.
Catcher challenging the ball call.
Flores looked like he hesitated. ABS powered by T-Mobile. It is a strike.
Call is overturned. Pittsburgh still has 2 challenges remaining.
Well, I think he had to wait for the strike call from Jim Wolf. And again, I appreciate that out of the home plate umpire. That's having a little feel. You know, he realized that he did want to challenge. I think they had a verbal little communication there about challenging. And
DeLauder tops it towards second base. Lau will go to first. 2 down, and Bazzana's in scoring position. So that'll bring up Rhys Hoskins as the Guardians try to get one on the board here early. Hoskins 1 for 4 earlier today. He's knocked in 25 runs since the start of May.
We also saw him be very aggressive on the first pitch in game 1.
He gets after the fastball at 99 miles an hour, but swung through it. Hoskins has been efficient with his hitting, right? I mean, when he makes contact and puts the ball in play,
It's been some damage.
yeah, he's able to drive the ball. The problem for Reese is that contact at times inconsistent. Crushed foul. That's what happens when a pitcher can run it up there at 100 miles an hour. You're so geared up for that if he changes speeds, you can't help but be out in front of him.
Not at all.
And he blew it by him. Triple digits from Mason Montgomery. No score after one. Guardians TV presented by Progressive. Second inning, Logan Allen, a first pitch strike in there to Ryan O'Hearn. O'Hearn 0 for 3 with a sacrifice fly earlier today. You know, you got to feel like if you're Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire, and you're looking out at the pitcher, Logan Allen, on the check swing, he went on the appeal. You might be thinking to yourself, yeah, I feel like I've seen this guy somewhere before. Randy Wolf was Jim Wolf's brother, and Randy Wolf was a left-handed pitcher like Logan Allen. He was 6 feet tall like Logan Allen, not a hard thrower like Logan Allen,
right?
But a guy who relied on command and guile and pitched a long time in the big leagues with a lot of success.
He really did.
Now, look, Jim Wolf's been around a time or two. He's seen a lot of left-handed pitchers.
He certainly has.
It just sort of struck me that he's looking out there like it's fairly similar kind of style and size and shape of his brother, who pitched a long time in the big leagues.
And I wonder if, you know, he'll have flashbacks to something like that.
Popped up behind the plate. Hedgie might have room, but that wind blew it right into the netting, and that's where he went headlong and could not come up with it. Sometimes a catcher gets a pop-up, and if the wind's blowing right, it blows it back to him. This one pushed it away from him.
And this was close. You couldn't quite tell if you're Austin Hedges, if the ball is going to hit the net. It almost looked like it may have hit high up on the net and kind of forced him to overrun that just a bit.
Two-two pitch. Checked and a little high, full count.
Well, the one thing about Jim Wolf behind the plate, great to talk to, easily has the best arms of any umpire in Major League Baseball.
Maybe in baseball history.
And more importantly than that, he can make a pitcher feel pretty bad about yourself.
He can fire it back there.
Not just looking at his arms, certainly. He's got some of the nastiest stuff. He'll throw cutters, he'll throw knuckleballs back to you as a pitcher.
Yeah, I would imagine there might have been a few games of catch in the backyard with his brother growing up.
I would assume so. But yeah, he can certainly make a pitcher feel bad about himself.
And that missed inside, ball 4. So a leadoff walk. Well, if you don't remember Randy Wolf, again, they're not identical, but size-wise, again, they're both 6 feet tall, both relied on that command. And Randy Wolf could obviously command both sides of the plate and change speeds with the best of them. You don't stick around for 16 years.
You're exactly right. You got to be able to throw strikes. You got to be able to mix speeds. And he was one of the best to ever do it.
And I think, you know, if you heard Kaylee Griffin's interview prior to the ball game with Carl Willis, the one thing they've emphasized with Logan, one of those things that's sometimes easier said than done. He's got to fill up the strike zone. Now, that doesn't mean you want him missing the fat part of the plate because he doesn't have overpowering stuff, but the walks, those are the things that lead to his demise sometimes. And getting into bad counts.
That's the key, is getting himself into bad counts when you know you don't have overpowering stuff and you know you need to live on the edges of the plate. you know, your misses are smaller, meaning they're off the plate. So that was a good sweeper right there to Ozuna. But if you can trust yourself early in the count and try to live down, as you can see, he gets on the side of this breaking ball. Great job executing that back door.
And a flare that just found its way through the infield. That will send O'Hearn all the way to third. That's a veteran hitter for you. He didn't try to do anything other than put that ball in play, stayed behind it, and just pushed it through the right side of the infield.
Well, this is a great shot at it right there. That's a big hole there on the right side of the infield. Knowing that as long as he can get something over to that side, pretty good chance that ball's falling in, finding some green grass.
Brandon Lau is absolutely sizzling right now. He's hit in 11 of his last 12 games, 2 for 4 earlier today. And Logan couldn't get him to bite. 2 balls, no strikes. Look at that pitch, just off
on the
outside edge. And that's a heck of a take, but when you're locked in like Lau is, he hammers that high in the air to right field. Back goes Fry onto the track. He'll pull it down, but tagging up and coming home to score is Ryan O'Hearn, and the Pirates lead 1-0. And their early surge offensively continues. They've outscored their opponents by 49 runs in the first 2 innings of play on the year.
Well, you mentioned how hot Brandon Lau has been. Got himself an advantage count and a fastball middle away. Did a good job of just, again, trying to force something to the outfield right there. That's a free RBI.
And Rafael Flores takes a first pitch strike. Flores 4 for 10 since getting called up. On July the 8th, he was recalled from the minors. No balls, had 2 strikes.
He's a big kid, got a bazooka behind the plate. I know they like this kid's offensive potential as well, but a little bit more known for defensive prowess at this point.
It is kind of interesting, isn't it, in the history of the game of baseball, how left-hand pitchers, if they can change speeds effectively and spin the ball a little bit, they don't have to be flamethrowers. A lot of left-handed, so quote-unquote soft-tossing lefties have found a lot of success.
Very successful. And part of that to me is if you can control the inner third of the plate, I think there's a lot of room there for soft contact for some right-handed hitters. Not too many right-handed hitters truly do like the ball in that far in. I mean, of course, there's some guys out there that do, but guys want to be able to get extended on baseballs. But if you know you have to keep yourself honest on that inner third, it just allows, you know, the pitcher to expand his zone a little bit. And you might follow him in and you might follow him out.
The 2-2 broke the bat. Barrel went up the third baseline. Ball was well fouled. See how that thing split right down the middle of the bat from the handle to the barrel.
That was right off the end of the bat. Tony Beasley down there at third base didn't even flinch. Been there a time or two. It's one of the best human beings in baseball right there.
One on, one out. Flores with a new stick and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. off the plate, full count. And that's the key right there when you talk about being able to pitch into the right-handers for lefty. You've got to be able to hit that for a strike to really make that hitter honor that pitch. Jammed him, popped it up, fouled ground, Reese over, out of play.
And that was a good one right there. Not as in as he wanted it, but it was high enough. But you kind of touched on it. If I don't have to respect you in, knowing that you can't execute in there, I can keep my eyes out over the plate. And now the pitch that you want to get me out on, your changeup or your sweeper out there, I got a chance to put some barrel on.
3-2 pitch. And a fly ball to center field. Halpin makes the catch. 2 down. Well, again, Randy Wolf, Jim Wolf's brother, said 16 years in the big leagues, 8 different teams, 200 or more innings 6 different times. So
he was a horse.
We're not talking about a guy that just went out there and pitched here and there.
He wasn't a one-trick pony. No. He could pitch.
Both of them were second-round picks.
Pepperdine, you ever been to that campus?
The Waves, right?
Oh, yes.
I don't think I have been there.
There is not a step you can step foot on that campus that you cannot see the ocean. It is the most unbelievable collegiate campus you've ever seen.
How do they not recruit better?
Tell me about it. I think they recruit maybe not athletes, but other things.
Sun bunnies. Jared Triolo with 2 down and a runner at first base here in the second inning. Pirates lead 1-0. Off the outside corner. Well-located fastball gets Logan Allen ahead. Triolo, a defensive specialist. He was a 24 Gold Glove winner at the utility spot. Bouncing ball through the hole on the right side. Second time this inning. Pittsburgh has found that hole. Marcelo Zuna did it earlier, and now Triolo follows suit to keep the inning alive.
Again, that's just a case of not showing that inner third enough. You know, full well knowing that these guys their eyes are out over there, especially with where Travis Mazzana's playing, that hole being so wide open there on the right side.
Already 44 pitches in the game here for Logan Allen, and Carl Willis going out along with Austin Hedges. And we'll get a message right here from Cleveland Clinic.
When you make complexities your specialties, you redefine what's possible. For every care in the world, Cleveland Clinic.
Pittsburgh's Jake Mangum struck out first time up. To third, and Schneemann will go to the bag to retire the side. A run on 2 hits, 2 left, midway through inning 2, 1-0 Pittsburgh. Lucky winner takes home half the prize. The other goes to Cleveland Gardens Charities. Raffle ends Thursday at midnight. You can get your tickets now at CLEGuardians5050.com. A warm, humid, and strange-looking evening here at Progressive Field. I almost feel like some of the residue of the last few days, the smoky conditions have returned.
Yeah.
It is just a bizarre-looking sky.
Kind of eerie, isn't it?
Yeah. Mason Montgomery, the opener, worked a scoreless inning. He gives way now to Christian Curtis.
Well, Curtis is making his major league debut. You can see the numbers there in AAA.
Daniel Schneemann leading off for the Guardians here in inning number 2. He checks, and that 96-mile-an-hour fastball misses outside. Curtis was a 12th round pick out of Arizona State 3 years ago. And a foul right back.
It's always fun as a hitter because you don't have as much information on a guy, never seen him before. You're kind of going up there blind, so to speak.
And that misses low, full count.
Good pitch too right there. Change up from Curtis. Seemingly early on here is the go-to to the left-handed hitter.
Swing and a miss. One down here in inning number 2. Christian Curtis strikes out the first batter he faces in a big league ball game.
You can see this cutter had a little late movement as Daniel just underneath that pitch. And now David Fry's turn.
Checked, and it was outside. The appeal, he did not go. Now the 2-0 offering, and that missed inside. 3 balls, no strikes. It's interesting, you know, guys move around so much in college. Curtis started his collegiate career at Texas A&M before transferring to Arizona State. And that's ball 4. So after striking out his first hitter, he walks the next. And that brings up Petey Halpin.
I think just in today's day and age, you know, collegiate sports have changed so much. You can pretty much go wherever you want, any year you want at this point.
I know you know a lot more about the college game than I do, but I'm thinking to myself, for a long time at least, Arizona State, we're talking about one of the premier programs. That's almost like,
and they still are,
transferring up when you, even though they're both Division I programs.
Right. I mean, Texas A&M baseball has been very, very good as well. Been to the College World Series a couple of years in a row and just missed out this year, but
so more of a lateral move.
I would say so.
I suppose more than anything, you're just looking for the right opportunity.
And maybe pitching development.
Hopping off the end of the bat right up the middle, and an easy inning-ending double play. Almost pulled his first baseman off the bag, but O'Hearn, long and lanky, able to keep his toe on. He's looking into the Guardians dugout to see if they're going to challenge. It was close. Stephen Vogt says, okay. Third inning brought to you by your Northeast Ohio Jeep dealers, and Nick Gonzalez will lead it off for Pittsburgh. Grounded to second base his first time up. And Logan Allen delivers. It's popped back out of play. Chris, I would imagine baseball's hard enough to play, so you don't want to overcomplicate things ever. Spanked the left down into the left field corner. Gonzalez on his way to second base, and he'll go in standing with a leadoff double. He just went out and got that fastball and hooked it. And that's the second double of the night for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that one didn't, again, quite get where he wanted it. Wasn't a terrible pitch, but trying to go hard in there early in the count.
My question to you is, Austin Hedges knows Logan Allen. He's caught Logan Allen before, but not this year. Hasn't seen him since spring training, which probably seems like another lifetime ago right now. So when he pops in for this start tonight, is there any kind of anxiety level for a catcher when, okay, I haven't caught this guy since March?
You usually pick back up pretty quick. I mean, Austin's handled Logan Allen a significant amount. And it's just more getting acquainted with, hey, what do you like using? What feels good right now? Once you kind of come to terms on what you like, then you can kind of formulate your game plan for each individual hitter. But to me, it looks like Logan's dropping down a little bit, so that may add a little different movement. But Hedgie picked that up in the pen.
On a play to the right. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And I would imagine, too, unless something significant has occurred since Logan went to AAA this year, Hedgie still knows what he likes to go to with 2 strikes, what he likes to try to put hitters away with. So that probably hasn't changed.
And that communication happened as soon as these two saw each other today. You know, if something happened to be different.
Bouncing ball to short. Rocchio will chase Gonzalez back to second. And he throws out Brian Reynolds, 1 away. And that will bring up as Merlin Valdez. He hit one sky high to shallow left his first time up. But in our very short time of seeing this young man, you can see why the Pirates are very excited about his potential. Right-handed bat with power. And doesn't seem to be just a one-trick pony. He's not just up there swinging for the fences. Granted, it's only 29 games, but he's hitting at a 300 average. Another sky-high pop-up. This one's to center field. Halpin,
he can't see it.
He doesn't see it at all. It's behind second base. They're going to wave home Gonzalez. Here's the throw. Not in time. How do you like them apples? Halpin never saw it, and I said earlier, this is a strange-looking sky at Progressive Field tonight. You've got almost a orangish,
kind of a smoky
hue, and you could see Halpin. He was just completely in a bad spot, like I don't see the ball.
Well, the one thing he needed to do, you can see the reaction for it. His hands go up, but Travis Bazzana's turned to the side. He needs to do a better job of screaming as loud as he can that he can't see that ball. You can see he's looking like nowhere. Fry can't see it either. These guys, they have to do a better job right there of at least communicating that they could not see the baseball.
So Valdez moves to third, and there are 2 down, and it's 2-0 Pittsburgh. What a helpless feeling. Neither guy could see it. I don't know that
I've been in that situation before.
Much help or
no,
not.
I don't either, but at the very least, you have to get some sort of communication going out there. Instead of, I get it, throwing the hands up, but Bazzana's back was turned to the infield.
Yeah, from Bazzana's standpoint, he sees it straight up in the air. To him, that's a routine pop-up, so he's going into second base.
Well, with the runner at second base, somebody needs to occupy the bag. And nothing that Travis did wrong there. Just, again, it was a lack of communication and a very unfortunate time for that, to say the least, as that goes down as an RBI single.
We came out of the All-Star break, and because of the Canadian wildfires, Friday night's game postponed because of the air quality. And then earlier today, blazing hot, beautiful, sunny. Then we had some torrential rains, and now just odd.
It seems like every year, just odd is a very common phrase used around here.
And the 1-2 fouled right back. And the wind, I mean, it's a pretty significant wind.
Yes, it is.
And ball skips in.
And again, I'm not sure you could get as much more of the opposite from game 1 this afternoon to game 2 now.
Logan Allen over 60 pitches now as you see that wind blowing the flag straight in. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout for Logan Allen. A Mother Nature run for the Pirates here in the third. They lead 2-0.
Station just the other day, Jose saying he feels great. He obviously looked great taking ground balls here at Progressive Field, and Stephen Vogt even said that he read the other day that Jose's speed is actually up from where it was at the beginning of the season. So guys, look out if Jose Ramirez is even faster when he comes back.
He's definitely chomping at the bit. You can tell. Watching him just take ground balls and bounce around on the infield, he looked like it was the first day of spring training. I mean, that's the kind of bounce he had. Up in the air off the bat of Austin Hedges. Shallow center. Wow. After watching what just happened to Cleveland, he was going to track that as far as he could, and he makes the play for out number 1. Hyundai in the driver's seat, Stephen Kwan. He's hot. Last 18 games, .340 batting average. On base percentage of .426, so he's mixed in a few walks. Earlier today, 2 for 2 with a walk, scored their only run.
Well, he's definitely looking more comfortable in the batter's box, to say the least, and getting back to a little bit more of what he kind of made a name for himself doing, and that's using left field, staying on top of the ball.
Yeah, he's looking very Quanish.
Yes, he is.
That's the guy we saw for the first 4 years. I like that the Zippy, the Akron mascot there with the "Get Well Soon" Hosey sign.
Well,
center field.
Zippy knows what's up as well.
That's right. That's right. Get well soon, Hosey, from Zippy the mascot.
That is awesome.
Earlier today, in the first game of our doubleheader, Stephen Kwan taking it the other way.
Again, just look at him staying short and through the ball. He's not trying to pull that ball. He's allowing it to travel, but more importantly, keeping the barrel above the baseball.
Try to run it upstairs. He spit on that pitch. Full count.
Stephen Kwan's always had an elite eye at the plate. And again, one of the weird just things of this season is, again, with him is you would have thought the ABS system would really help him out. And it's kind of gone the other way for him, truthfully.
I just
hasn't been very good.
I feel like he was snake bitten early in the season, and then almost like you wonder,
makes you a little gun shy
did
now.
it get in your head a little bit? The 3-2.
There it is.
Shoots it foul up the third base side. And again, Stephen Kwan last year had more strikes called against him that were not strikes
than anybody in baseball.
Yeah, more than anybody. And so you thought, well, certainly he'll benefit from that ABS, but it just hasn't worked out. Line drive, base hit left field, and he does it again.
Well, that is the swing that we have known to come and love.
The thumbs up, thumbs down.
He might have got that one over 95.
A lot of people have asked about that. What's the thumbs up, thumbs down deal? And anything that's 95 miles an hour off the bat, exit velo or above, they get the thumbs up. And it's almost become like sort of the running inside gag joke, right? Was it up, down, up? Nah, it's down.
And that's certainly a close one there at 94.
And Travis Pizzana takes first pitch strike there. Look at her.
They're in the middle, somewhere in the middle.
Down.
Ouch. That's all right. You can give me as many thumbs down as you want as long as I'm getting hits.
Pizzana booms one into center field. Kwan hits the bag, and he thought about it, but he'll hold. Then the ball was bobbled by Mangum. Quan holding in scoring position. So back-to-back singles here in inning number 3. Guardians down 2-0.
Get another quality swing by Travis Bazzana. Second one this afternoon. Didn't try to do too much. This is where he's good. That's what he needs to get back to. Yes, can he hit the ball out of the ballpark? He certainly can. But that's where he needs to live. And Stephen Kwan looking to be a little aggressive here. Thought better of it.
Down 2, you have to be sure. Ryan Rocchio trying to find that magic that he had going into the break. Took a 5-game hitting streak into the All-Star break. 0 for 4 earlier today. Flied to right first time up. Flores out to talk with Christian Curtis. Curtis knows a thing or two about pitching well. Drafted by the Pirates in 23, and then last year at High A for the Greensboro Grasshoppers, he pitched 6 perfect innings, 18 up, 18 down, and then the bullpen finished a 9-inning perfect game combined.
Does that change your opinion, whether it's a combined no-hitter or a combined perfect game?
It's still perfect, right?
Still perfect.
Yeah,
I mean, could make the argument that that's pretty hard to do one way or another, but
Ryan Rocchio. First pitch changeup, got him in the strike zone.
these are the situations he's been so good in this year.
Tops it to first. And O'Hearn thought about going to second for a double play, but he'll take the sure out. And now Guardians at second and third with 2 down.
Probably a good decision there by O'Hearn to take the sure out. You can see Bazzana, you're taught as soon as this ground ball is hit to the right side, you're taught to get in that throwing lane there, the first baseman. O'Hearn knowing he needed to make a quick decision there, take the sure thing.
Now Chase DeLauder being serenaded by the crowd with 2 in scoring position, and he takes the ball in the dirt. Big hole on the left side, and DeLauder, we know, will shoot the ball that way. Tops that foul.
That's the one he's got to allow to travel. That's the changeup. Again, that opposite field or opposite gap thought process. You know, if he's thinking that with the fastball, he probably stays on that changeup just a little better. You can see him just out in front of that pitch.
That weight transfer.
A little upset at himself, too.
Just leaning forward. The 1-1.
There you go.
High fly ball, deep center field. Mangum back, still going back. The wind knocks it down, middle of the warning track to retire the side. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. We've played 3, 2-0 Pittsburgh.
It's not a bad day at the ballpark.
2-0 Pittsburgh leads it. And Brandon Lau, half swing, knocked in a run on a sacrifice fly in the second inning. I tell you what, 6 hours ago, this is a 3-run homer. This ball's up into the bushes.
Well, we talked about the wind playing a factor. That an expected batting average of .530.
The look on Chase DeLauder's face as he walked back to the dugout was one of just sheer, like, first of all, amazement. Like, how did that not go out?
Chase and I had the same look because as soon as that ball left his bat, I thought that ball was leaving the ballpark.
He was just dejected, like, I can't hit a ball any better than that. Look at him.
You can see he's upset. I understand that. It's demoralizing.
A day-night doubleheader, and the conditions could not be more diametrically opposed. Look at Chase.
He doesn't know what just happened. Again, those are little things that can get in your head as a hitter.
3 balls and 2 strikes. I guess it doesn't help when that happens when you're DHing and you have nothing to do but stew about it.
Go out there and just sit there and think about it.
Leadoff walk, second one of those issued by Logan Allen. The last one came around to score in the second. A word here from Bet365.
Did you win?
Let's just say the next round of omelets is on me, fellas.
Bet $10, get $200 in bonus bets.
Rafael Flores, Pirates catcher. It looked like he went. No, they appeal. He said he didn't. Ball and a strike. He lays off. It's down low.
Well, this has to be a challenge pitch right here. Back-to-back walks is not where it's at. You got to challenge him in this situation.
And ball 4. Back-to-back walks. At the bottom of the order, this usually leads to disaster. Jared Triolo. He singled to the right side of the infield his first time up. Again, Triolo noted more for his defense than his offense,
right.
So the Guardians are pinching in at the corners, thinking he might be squaring around the bunt.
Wouldn't be surprised to see that at the slightest.
He squares and he bunts it over the netting.
These are always the fun ones to try to bunt when everybody in the ballpark knows you're trying to do it. Have a tendency to maybe overthink it just a bit.
And that never had a chance. It's 0-2.
And it looks like he's just not quite sold on the fact that he has to do it right here.
Don Kelly, Pirates manager. Guardians aren't convinced he's not still going to try to lay it down. He swings and fouls it off.
Well, I like the pitch call right there. That's where you got to take advantage. If he is going to try to bunt, you want it to be something up in the air right here.
Tell you what, when you're a corner infielder and you're playing in, though, and
it's not a fun feeling.
You start swinging and you're thinking, uh-oh.
That is not a fun feeling.
Takes low, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sean Armstrong getting ready in the Guardians bullpen. A lot of pitches for Logan Allen, and you wonder, will he even face another hitter, being that it would be the 3rd time he'd be going through the lineup. Jake Mangum waits on deck. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Hedgie hangs on to the foul tip. And he gets the first out of the inning.
We just talked about trying to get him out up in the strike zone. This is well above the strike zone. Take advantage of Triolo going fishing there just above the zone. And again, now you're still in your situation with that first and second base, but if you can execute a pitch right here, even with Mangum's speed, there's a chance to get yourself out of this inning with no damage done.
Mangum 0 for 7 in the series thus far. Off the end of the bat, Hedgie. Both throw. Hoskins couldn't dig it out. Coming home from third. Throw to the plate. Safe there. Wow, with a full head of steam coming around third. And once he saw the ball trickle away from Hoskins, he just kept his head down and motored home. And it's 3-0 Pittsburgh.
Well, that was a great send there, too, by Tony Beasley at third base.
We're going to get a challenge coming from the Cleveland dugout.
It looked like he may have gotten the foot before it hit the bag.
Cleveland is challenging a safe call at the plate.
With Mangum's speed, it's a do-or-die play for Austin Hedges, so he didn't have time to really set. He kind of threw off balance a little bit. And Hoskins alertly made a good throw home.
See, I think he's out. In real time, I wasn't sure if that foot bounced up. And look at that front foot kind of bounces up a little bit. This may be very difficult to overturn, but looking at it a second and third time, I don't know if I see something clear and convincing, but you never know.
Yeah, that's going to be the key here. Don't know that there's anything that shows if that foot's in the air or touching home plate when Logan Allen gets the tag on the shin.
Well, at least not the angles that we've seen.
Don Kelly asking one of the umpires to come over, and he's having a conversation.
I'm wondering if he's not asking if Logan Allen was blocking the plate.
That's something you have to challenge right away, though, if you're going to challenge that part of the call. I didn't hear them challenge that. I think looking he's right. Yeah, he was.
I mean, he's. Listen, I've seen that be, I mean, something maybe even.
After review, you call on the field stands. The runner is safe. Cleveland will lose their challenge.
So that's going to be it for Logan Allen as the Pirates have taken a 3-0 lead. And so Logan Allen's debut here in the 26th season as a starter comes to an abbreviated end. 82 pitches. Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen made for Sean Armstrong. We'll be right back. A ball lost in the hazy sky that went for an RBI hit, and then a low throw to first, and another run is in for Pittsburgh. So he's out. Sean Armstrong in with 2 on. And still only 1 out. The one thing for Logan that is under his control, the walks.
It's the walks. You're right. You can't expect good things to happen when you walk the first 2 batters of an inning. And again, I know he's not out there actively trying to walk guys. And you know, you hope your defense can help pick you up, but that's the part of the game where you have to trust yourself in the strike zone. And we heard Carl Willis talk about that. That was a point of emphasis.
to the right. No balls, 2 strikes for Nick Gonzalez. Doubled and scored in the 3rd. He roped the ball into the left field corner. But then with 1 out in the inning, as Merlin Valdez popped the ball up into shallow center field, nobody saw it. And there's strike 3, 2 down. So this was the 3rd inning. And again, this is not Logan's fault. He makes his pitch. He thinks he's got an easy out, and nobody can see the ball. I mean, nobody saw it.
And again, that is such a bad feeling as an outfielder. And if you're Logan, and obviously there's nothing you can do about that. But man, I've been out there, and that is not a fun feeling when you lose sight of that ball.
Ryan Reynolds, he doubled in the 1st inning, grounded out in the 3rd. To be fair, we talked about Chase DeLauter's ball. That would have been a 3-run homer earlier today. The one that Reynolds hit in the 1st inning probably would have been out of here.
Yeah, that's
in game 1 as well.
That's a good call.
It hit at the base of the wall, went for a 2-out double, and then Logan Allen retired Valdez to end that 1st inning. Struck him out looking. So a couple of Ks for Sean Armstrong. But the Pirates have scored 1 run in 3 consecutive innings to
run out there. But putting that extra pressure on him would be huge.
Ball 1 to Rhys Hoskins as we open the bottom half of the 4th inning. And that's in for a strike to even the count of 1-1.
Half-hearted swing there out of Rhys Hoskins. That's just never seeing a guy before and not knowing the type of movement or the depth of movement on that breaking ball.
He got one up that hung a little bit, fouled it back, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swung out and missed. Second strikeout for Curtis. 1 down here in the 4th.
Now batting for Cleveland, third baseman number 10, Daniel Schneemann.
And up comes Daniel Schneemann. He'll face Curtis for the 2nd time. He went down swinging in the 2nd inning. As tough a go as it has been for the Guardians so far in this series against the Pirates, they got some good news earlier today. Our old buddy Shane Bieber went 6 innings of shutout baseball, and the Blue Jays beat the White Sox 1-0.
Well, that is certainly good news, because it was not that way last night. The White Sox put a drubbing on the Toronto Blue Jays.
Guardians begin play a half game back of the Sox, but they're down 3-0 to the Pirates here in game 2 of this doubleheader. The other big story in the American League, the Boston Red Sox have ripped off 12 wins in a row. They're a game above 500 for the first time since the first game of the season. And they have put themselves in wild card contention.
The catcher is challenging the ball call.
ABS powered by T-Mobile.
Call is overturned. Pittsburgh has 2 challenges remaining.
Rafael Flores with the challenge gets the strikeout. 2 down here in the 4th. And we'll get a look at our scores from around the league, courtesy of Bet365. Gonna need a bigger bat.
I'm only laughing because, boy, have I been there before. Now, baseball can be a difficult game just in its own right, even for the best out there. But when you put that extra pressure on yourself to try to find a way to be the guy to get it going, any extra pressure you put on yourself, let's put it that way, that you certainly don't need help putting pressure, or you don't need help with that pressure.
And he struck him out, never threw him a strike. Christian Curtis strikes out the side in the 4th. Great Lakes Christmas Ale and Fatheads Holly Jolly will be on top. Full details and tickets at CLEGuardians.com. A first pitch strike. In there to Esmerlin Valdez. Sean Armstrong struck out the only 2 hitters he faced in the 4th, so he'll stay on to start the 5th. And he'll challenge. That's the
batter is challenging the strike call.
He's not going to like the result.
First challenge I have seen this year before the strike was actually called.
Call is confirmed. Pittsburgh has 1 challenge remaining.
ABS powered by T-Mobile. Valdez loses the challenge. He turned Jim Wolf before he called it a strike, so it's weird. He knew he was going to call it a strike.
Wolfie has a tendency to say strike and then make the call with his hand.
All right, see, that's good intel right there. 3 straight strikeouts for Sean Armstrong. Here's another look at Valdez. So maybe it's an audible before, but he was already, hey, no. We're going to challenge that one. And Valdez, well, that's on the wrong end of it. We've got a timeout for another pitching change. Sean Armstrong strikes out all 3 that he faces. Sabrowski on the pitch with 1 out here in the 5th inning, facing Ryan O'Hearn. Sabrowski, so dominant, so effective in the first couple of months of this season, then the elbow injury, and just trying to get himself back into that consistent work and that consistent rhythm.
Yeah, pitchers, relief pitchers in general, they're like hitters. You know, hitters go into slumps. You lose that feel for your swing. Sometimes relievers can lose that feel for their mechanics as well.
You know, Eric, he pitched well after coming back from the injured list. Had a couple of tough outings. And then Stephen Vogt said, hey, during the All-Star break, though, he was able to get off the mound and work on some things. And it's that. Sometimes as the terminology goes, you just want to touch the mound. Just get on the mound, throw a little bit to try and
take a little of the pressure off, you know,
and replicate that workload. He's a guy that, like a lot of pitchers will tell you, as Rocchio camps under it, tells everybody, I've got it, never fear, 2 down. He's a guy that when he's working more and more consistently, probably feels better, gets into that rhythm. You would think the opposite. You would think as much as these guys pitch, they need time off, when actually the opposite is true.
Yeah, I mean, I think they do need a little bit of time off, but you're on to something there with continuing on that rhythm. That is so important for these guys down there. They're creatures of habit. If they have a good feel for something, they want to be out there. They're hungry for being in those situations. It's now trying to find that right balance of not overworking a guy who especially is coming off of 2 separate elbow injuries that are major elbow injuries, and then an injury this year that had something to do with an elbow. You got to find that fine line of keeping these guys fresh, but also making sure you're taking care of them, because the end goal is to play in October and hopefully deep that way.
And look, when a guy comes into a game, and it could be any pitcher, but when Sabrowski came in that game in Minnesota and walked everybody that he faced, everybody's antenna goes up.
Sure.
Like, what's wrong? We have never seen Sabrowski have a game like that before. So your immediate reaction is what happened? You want answers, right? He was probably couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
Those days.
And again, that's exactly what you have to chalk it up to. As long as he's healthy, he comes out of it, nothing's wrong from a structural standpoint in his arm, his shoulder. You have to chalk it up to just one of those days. They do happen. And again, as good as he has been, you become accustomed to just seeing him going out there and dominating. And when he has a bad day like that, you notice it a little bit extra.
The 2-2 pitch, and bounced in there. Full count. I'm sure there were Yankee fans, say 20 some odd years ago, that wondered if something was wrong with Mariano Rivera when Bill Selby took him deep here to walk him off in a game.
Yeah, I mean,
it happens.
Prime example. It does happen, even to the best. Just, folks at home, they don't realize how hard the game actually is.
Ozuna sends one to right. Long run for Fry. He's there and makes the catch. 1, 2, 3. Go the Buccos. And we're halfway through. 3-0 Pittsburgh. On Tuesday, Guards take on the Twins. It'll be a night of celebration, education, and more. For full details and tickets, visit CLAguardians.com/disabilitypride. Petey Halpin leading off for Cleveland here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Christian Curtis struck out the side in the 4th. And he fires a fastball at the knees. It's 0-2 on Halpin. And a liner, the 0-2 pitch. 1 down. And a word now from Levin.
Sink into unbeatable comfort with Lazy Boy recliners, starting at just $395 for an incredible selection of Lazy Boy. Shop Levin.
And it'll bring up Austin Hedges. Popped up on the infield his only time up tonight. Hedgie riding a 7-game hitting streak into tonight's game. And over his last 18 games, batting at a .375 clip.
It's been quite the turnaround this year offensively, at least for Austin Hedges. Same very, very stout defensive work that he does. And again, I know this from experience. It's so much easier to go up there and see a 2 next to your name as opposed to a 1.
Drilled foul left side.
Makes you feel just, a little extra froggy, like you have a legitimate chance. You're not trying to climb your way out of something. You can let the game come to you a little bit easier that way.
Swing and a miss. It's 2-2. Well, a lot of times, because this game is so hard to play, hard to succeed at, and it is a game built on failure, as you've heard it said a million times. Sometimes when you hear players talk about their successes or failures, you're not sure if they are trying to convince themselves, when you hear them talk, that I can do this. I can be successful. But I think in Austin Hedges' case, he definitely believed that there's a good offensive player in here. He's not trying to convince anybody he's Johnny Bench.
Sure.
But hey, I'm way better than what I have shown. I know that, and he's proven it this year.
He certainly has proven it this year. And again, sometimes it can take a little tweak, whether that's a mental tweak, or a physical adjustment to the swing that can get you right back on track. But when you've got a proven track record of maybe not being Johnny Bench like you mentioned, but at least being a productive offensive player. Let's not forget, you know, he's had 20 homer campaign in there, so you know it's in there at some point. It's just finding a way to go out there and doing it in a different type role. When he hit 20 homers, he was a starter. Now he's kind of splitting time or a little bit more of the backup role. It's a hard adjustment to make.
Stephen Kwan straightened up, and a challenge coming from Flores.
Catcher is challenging the ball.
ABS powered by T-Mobile. And the Pirates are out of challenges.
The call is confirmed. Pittsburgh is out of challenges.
Guardians still have both of theirs to utilize. 2 down, 5th inning, 2-0 count on Kwan. In there for a strike. Piece, and that got a piece of Flores, the Pirates catcher.
Yeah, those are not fun. Again, know that from experience. That's kind of the unfortunate part of catching, especially when you're a big target back there. A little more surface area there to take or wear foul balls off of.
Rafael Flores, he's got Rafa flow. I like that.
He's got some flow, that's for sure.
The 2-2. And Kwan with a bouncing ball to second, backhanded by Lau. And Cleveland again, it goes 1-2-3. 8 straight retired by Christian Curtis. 3-0 Pittsburgh. Collective nicknames for a group of all time, and that team had some thunder. Willie Stargell, 48 homers, 125 knocked in. Roberto Clemente, in the twilight of his career, hit .341. Bob Robertson at first base, 26 home runs in his own right. And back in those days, Three River Stadium was never known as a home run paradise, but those guys made every park they played in look small. And I bring that up because that lineup, when you look at collectively what they did, they led the National League in runs per game. Sound familiar? They were second overall in team batting average, second in on-base percentage, and led the National League in home runs. This Pittsburgh Pirates team is leading the National League in runs per game, leading the National League in batting average. They're second in on-base percentage, and they're third in home runs through the first 98 games of the season. So they don't have necessarily the big names, the individual maybe star power that the lumber company had in 1971, but collectively they're getting it done. Now let's go back in time. There's big Bob Robertson, bang, Oppo, 385, way over the big wall. Wow. There's Willie Stargell and Roberto Clemente. I mean, Big Willie. And of course the great one, Roberto Clemente. And I guess the point is, we often don't think of baseball being a team game because we look at these statistics individually. Like, what's your batting average? How many home runs have you hit? How many runs batted in do you have? That team, yeah, they had Hall of Fame players. Clemente's in the Hall of Fame. Stargell's in the Hall of Fame. This group right here for Pittsburgh, I mean, they're doing it. I don't want to say that it's a bunch of no-name guys, but they're doing it with a lot of different pieces of the puzzle collectively. You know, if you look at the stats, and I did have it written down, now of course I can't find it, but if you look,
it's been a little windy up here.
If you looked at the stats, they only have like one guy in the top 20 in homers, one guy in the top 20 in doubles, but collectively everybody's pitching in, and that's how they're getting it done. Here it is. Here, I wrote it down right here. So Nick Gonzalez is the only Pirate among the top 20 National League players in hits,
and not the guy you would have thought of.
Brian Reynolds and Brandon Lau are the only Pirates among the top 20 in the National League in doubles. Brandon Lau is the only National League, is the only Pirate among the top 20 in the National League at home runs. But they have 3 players among the top 12 in runs batted in.
That is collectively getting the job done.
And Chris, you played on some teams that had some thunder, that had some good offenses. It has to be more fun as a group collectively when everybody's pitching in. You're not just leaning on one guy to kind of save the day.
Yeah, and you know, I've been on a few teams. Our 2016 team in particular, that group could carry the load from 1 to 9. And it was so much fun because you sat there and you wondered, who was it going to be tonight? You know, I think so often with this group, it's been so much of that heavy lifting's been on Jose. And if Jose happens to get himself out, now we're sitting there, how are we going to get back to Jose later on in this game for him to make an adjustment or him to make, you know, have something special happen?
So take me through when you're game planning as a catcher or just as a team, and you're game planning and you're playing a team like the Pirates who up and down the lineup, as we heard some of their players tell us, hey, this is a lineup that's deep. Our 7, 8, 9 hitters are productive. They're getting the job done for us. And so when you're game planning, it's got to be a lot more stressful for the pitcher, for the catcher calling, when you know you don't
formulating a game plan, whether that's your job as a coach or as the catcher. You're looking for your outs in the lineup, and when those outs are very hard to come by, it may not necessarily be the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Right field, Fry had him positioned perfectly. 2 down.
You know, the Dodgers are full of star power, and you expect those guys to get hits. You look up and down this lineup, it's not anybody that really jumps off the page at you. But collectively, like you've mentioned, they get the job done. They're pesky outs. They're difficult outs. And those are the hardest lineups truly to game plan for, because you're looking for, how can I find a way out of this sticky situation if I'm in it? Where can I go? What pitch can I go to? And if you've got guys that are up there and willing to sacrifice themselves or utilize the entire field, it makes things extremely difficult.
A strike called on Jake Mangum. He was credited with an infield hit back in the 4th. He topped one out in front of the plate, but it was just far enough between home plate and the pitcher's mound that it made it a really tough play for Austin Hedges. He back picks to first. They got him. Oh, what a play. It's Austin Hedges for you. He saw Flores wandering too far off the bag. He back picked him to get out of the inning.
I don't really know how to take that.
It's going to be a fun night. Follow them to the party. 3-0 Pittsburgh leads. Bottom of the 6th inning. Top of the order. Travis Pisano leading off. Takes ball 1. Christian Curtis has been impressive. 4 innings of work. He's yielded just 2 hits. He's walked 1 and struck out 4, and has retired the last 8 in a row.
Well, if Cleveland's going to find their way back into this game, you got to feel like this is the inning. They got to find something on that scoreboard. First 3 in your order up. Now the second time through you've seen Curtis.
Almost nicked him. He turned out of the way. 3 balls and a strike. And that is ball 4. So there's a glimmer of hope for the Guardians as that breaks up that string of 8 straight retired by Curtis. Let's check in right here with Kaylee Griffin.
Well, Matt, we want to tell you about an important event that's coming up this Monday. Brian Rocchio hosting a signing from 10 to 12 at the team store where fans will have the opportunity to donate to the American Red Cross Venezuelan Relief Fund to participate in the signing. Now, what you can do is donate $15 or make a physical donation from a list of the approved items that are of the same value. You'll get to meet the players and take photos with them as well. He's going to be joined by Angel Martinez and Gabriel Arias. So Obviously, this is a really important event for Brian Rocchio, and it means so much to him to be able to give back to Venezuela.
Yeah, no question, Kaylee. It's been a difficult couple of weeks for Brian Rocchio and so many of the players and coaches in Major League Baseball that hail from Venezuela. And you have to imagine anything that he can do to try and help and give back. Hopefully the fans go out and support him. 2 down here in the 6th inning. Chris, it looked like Travis Bazzanic kind of got caught in like no man's land. Do I stop? Do I try to beat him? And he just ended up looking. That's kind of
he's beating himself up over that one. Again, that's kind of base running 101. You never run into that out right there. You got to find a way to stop. I don't think he exactly knew where Brandon Lau was on the field right there. We're going to get another look at this here. You can see he gets that secondary lead. He's trying to figure out, where do I need to go? Where's Brandon Lau at? And again, that's a young mistake that can't happen.
He never picked up Lau. He never gave a peek to see, like, yeah, how close is he? Can I stop? Can I beat him? He's looking at the ball, trying to kind of time it.
He was trying to time it. That's
off the ball.
Seemingly what it looked like.
And Delauder once again flies to fairly deep center field. 6 complete, 3-0 Pittsburgh. It's time for payback. Colin Holderman, the former Pirate reliever, going on to work the 7th inning.
Yeah, you got to think there's maybe a little extra juice here for Holderman in this situation against his former team.
First ball swinging. Jake Mangum grounds out. And I'll tell you what, he gets down the line in a hurry. Makes every play close at first, doesn't he?
He certainly does. Can't fault him for that hard 90.
So with 1 out, Nick Gonzalez coming up. Ago, Colin Holderman pitched in a career-high 58 games for the Pirates and had a .386 earned run average. Following year, 55 appearances and a .316 ERA. Swing and a miss. But then last year, he just never said that he felt right. And injuries kind of took their toll, from a right knee sprain to right thumb injury. Little comebacker. And he's been a terrific pickup for Cleveland. Well, our key play of the game was a bizarre play back in the 3rd inning. It was 1-0 Pittsburgh. 1 on and 1 out, and this looked like a routine pop-up, except nobody could see the baseball with the weird pinkish hazy sky overhead, and it ended up dropping and a run scored. It wasn't like it was anybody's fault.
I mean, that's one of those things that happens. It's unfortunate when it does, but there's not much anybody could have done. And again, a very unwelcoming feeling for any infielder or outfielder that as soon as that ball goes up, you lose sight of it. The heart starts to race a little bit.
That's one of those ones that it's nobody's fault. Logan Allen says, "Hold my beer."
Yeah, exactly.
That went on my ERA.
Yeah, that is the truth.
You can't give an error in that situation.
And again, it's one of those unfortunate things that happen. Now,
look, to be fair, and you know this from being in clubhouses most of your life, Logan would be the first one to stand up and say, yeah, but defense bails me out when I make a bad pitch and they hit a scorching line drive and the guy makes a good play. So it's not like he's in there stewing over they didn't help me or they didn't bail me out. It's just one of those, that's the bad luck of baseball sometimes.
And it's just, you know, some guys it always seems to happen to. You know, this year, the guy that normally happens to is Tanner Bybee. You know, he has had weird stuff like that all season long. And again, not an excuse. And both of those guys would be the first ones to stand up there and tell you that, trust me, the defense bails me out way more than I may bail them out. And I'm certainly not going to get on something that you really can't control for happening.
And look, if Cleveland's offense was scoring some runs, you wouldn't be looking back at that saying, boy, that was a big play in the game. But they've scored 1 run today in almost 2 full games.
Well, you got to give Pittsburgh's pitching staff a little bit of credit, too. They were coming in here pretty good in its own right. And they have kind of been as advertised as well as this offense. This offense has come in here and looked like the team that is leading baseball.
As Merlin Valdez takes a strike. He was the beneficiary of that good fortune on the pop-up that fell in shallow center field. And it's now 0-2 on Valdez. A challenge coming from Austin Hedges. It did look pretty good.
He captured his challenge on the ball call.
This is about as close as it could possibly be. ABS powered by T-Mobile. It's a ball by what?
The call is confirmed. Cleveland has 1 challenge remaining.
Well, worth a shot right there if you're Austin Hedges. You got 2 left. It's late in the ball game.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And a scoreless inning of relief work for the former Pirate. Colin Holden in the 7th inning, and the Pirates go to the bullpen for Yohan Ramirez.
He's been good this year. Tons of ground balls. Has done a great job of limiting damage. The one bugaboo on his resume this year is the walks. He's had a very interesting time with walking hitters this season.
31 is a lot. And just over 51 innings of work. Khalil Watson will pinch hit for Rhys Hoskins. And he misses down low, ball 1.
And speaking of those Pittsburgh pitchers, 18 outs. 9 of those outs on 3 pitches or less. Cleveland is 1 for 8 with hitting, or at least hitting with a runner on, and 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position.
1 ball, 1 strike for Watson. Guardians have 2 hits.
Not much else needs to be said after that.
They came consecutively back in that 3rd inning when Kwan and Bazana singled consecutively with 1 out. That has been it. Two-1 to Watson is popped to center. Mangum 1 away. And a word now from Liberty Ford.
Liberty's in Aurora, Maple Heights, Canton, Palmer Heights, Brunswick, Vermilion.
Here's Daniel Schneemann 0 for 2. Out of play.
Nice catch.
Despite the walks that have been problematic at times for Yohan Ramirez in the month of July, he's faced 25 batters and he's given up just 3 hits, 5 walks, 1 hit better. 7 strikeouts. No runs. Off balance throw, pull him up the line, and Daniel Schneemann with an infield hit. Tough play for Triolo, who's one of the best in the business, but he just couldn't get anything on that throw with his momentum carrying him the opposite direction.
Yeah, going into the 6 hole, this is a very difficult play. Not sure, even if it's a perfect throw, if he's able to get enough on it to get Schnee running down the line. That ball just kind of sailed on him a little bit there. Again, difficult play regardless. But Daniel Schneemann will certainly take it.
David Fry is lifted for Kyle Manzardo, who pinch hits. And that's outside ball 1. Fry walked and struck out in 2 plate appearances. Borderline pitch, 2-0.
Now that Kyle's got himself into an advantage count here, pick you out one.
4 for 12 as a pinch hitter. And a swing and a miss.
Well, that was the right pitch to try to get your swing on. Again, in a count like that, it's okay to swing and miss. Again, you're still in the advantage.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Manzardo on his 26th birthday. Will he get a nice gift here? Fouled back. Got a fastball at 99. That's not exactly the kind of pitch that says happy birthday.
They did a good job of getting enough to foul that ball off. And how about a little birthday knock?
Down and in, struck him out. 2 down here in the 7th. Now Petey Halpin. Drive and a base hit up the left field line. Schneemann racing into third base, and he'll stop there. It's a double for Halpin, and the Guardians have something brewing now. The tying run comes to the plate. Nothing wrong with this.
Nothing.
Kept it inside the bag.
He just kind of threw his hands at this. This is a sinker at 97 on the outer third of the plate there. You can see him stay behind the baseball and shoot that ball just inside third base.
Well, Stephen Vogt is going to go to Patrick Bailey off the bench to pinch hit for Austin Hedges. He wants the left-handed bat against the right-hander Ramirez. See if Bailey can kind of follow Petey Halpin's lead. You mentioned earlier in game 1, and even when Mason Montgomery was used as the opener, not a guy that's really easy to pull. No. The kind of velo that these guys can run it up there with. So Halpin with that approach, try to stay on it.
It's nice to see at least some of these guys are starting to maybe make some of those adjustments that we've kind of been talking about. I mean, that's Up until this point, you mentioned it, we had 2 hits in the game, now 2 in this inning alone.
Well, after a long stall with the catcher going out to talk, that gave Don Kelly enough time to say, you know what, let's go get a left-hander. Turn Patrick Bailey around. So we've got a timeout for a pitching change, and we'll be right back. Our progressive defensive play of the game, Austin Hedges from behind home plate. Watch him back pick that runner at first base. He's really good at that maneuver.
It's the best to do it with a lefty up. That way you kind of block yourself. And you can see him use his lower half there so efficiently. A perfect throw. And getting your young counterpart hanging out just a little too far out there at first base.
4th time Hedges has picked a runner off base from his catching position. No other catcher has more than 2. So that tells you just how good he is, how effective he can be. All right, here we go. Brandon Eisert, the former White Sox left-hander, out of the bullpen. They turn Bailey around. The switcher to batting from the right side now. Is big a struggle as it has been for the Guardians here against the Pirates. One big hit right here could make it a 1-run game. Swung out and missed. He changed up on him.
That's his go-to pitch to right-handed hitters. He loves that changeup. You will see the fastball. He will also mix in some sliders.
Oh, man, that was after that changeup. He just dotted the bottom of the strike zone.
The low dart. It's a great location. And now, if you're Patty Bailey, you got to see this ball up.
You know, your description of that, we use that term a lot, a low dart. But Eisert truly looks like he's throwing darts. That short arm delivery of his, it almost looks like he's just throwing darts at a board.
Yeah, and a lot of that is because of the extension he gets. He's in the top 5% in Major League Baseball of getting that release point down the rubber, releasing that ball 7'2" from a release standpoint.
Just outside, full count.
Again, we talked about the induced vertical break in game 1 and how that plays tricks on hitters' eyes. The extension also plays tricks.
Well, here we go. Big opportunity right here. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. 7 complete. 3-0 Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh and Cleveland they don't have a long history when it comes to trades, but one of the most notable or notorious, depending on your point of view, was Brian Giles to the Pirates for Ricardo Rincon. Now, when you think back to November of 1998, when that trade was consummated, John Hart was looking for that final piece to the puzzle. You know, they'd been to the World Series twice. You're looking for that one key piece. Ricardo Rincon had gotten off to a great start to his career in Pittsburgh. Left-handed reliever. A lot of left-handed big key outs in the postseason when you think about the late 90s with the Yankees lineup that you were facing, the Red Sox lineup that you were always seeming to go up against. So it made sense from a standpoint of Rincon being a guy that you would target to maybe be that guy. The price was costly. Brian Giles was an everyday player. Unfortunately, though, for him at that time in Cleveland, he was a little bit blocked by some of the players that were already here. And so, you know, you pull the trigger on the trade. Now, Giles goes on to have a heck of a career and a lot of offensive productivity for Pittsburgh. And Rincon never really panned out to be that lockdown lefty that they thought he would be. Swing and a miss.
I mean, that's...
And look, when you're, and I bring this up too because we're coming up on that trading deadline. Now, this was an off-season trade, but still, you know, when you're talking about trading for that, maybe that one last piece of the puzzle, it's buyer beware sometimes.
It certainly can be. And, you know, you and I were talking about 2 very interesting trades that these organizations made, not with each other, but 2016 team. Again, we make the trade, we go after it. go get Andrew Miller. You know, we get a couple other supplementary pieces. But Andrew Miller was that big piece, that final piece that we needed to ultimately get ourselves over the hump and into the World Series. And a few years before that, the Pirates tried to do the same thing with former Cleveland Indian at the time, and that's Chris Archer. And again, just looking at how those two trades worked out, one went one way and the other did not.
O'Hearn bounces one to short, and that's out number one. Now, Brian Giles, you know, he was a solid outfielder from a defensive standpoint, but you know, he became the linchpin of that Pirates offense. 308 career average in a Pirate uniform, 165 home runs, 4 consecutive 35 homer seasons. He and Ralph Kiner.
Extremely impressive. And again, you know, he was blocked here when they traded him. It seemed like, okay, we got a little bit of depth in this area. We can go ahead for what we think, you know, maybe that finishing touch. And sometimes that's why trades just, you never know.
Slow chopper, Rocchio again. Takes his time. 2 down. The trade you're talking about, though, too, when you think about the Andrew Miller trade, Cleveland did give up a lot.
They certainly did at the time.
A lot of highly touted prospects. I know it was Clint Frazier and Justice Sheffield. Forget the third player that also went in that trade to the Yankees in exchange for Andrew Miller. But Miller ended up being the guy.
He was the guy.
Got you to the World Series, and he was incredible in that postseason. He was the MVP of the ALCS.
I'm really not sure he could have thrown any more innings than he did that postseason. With all the injuries we had at the very end of the season to our starting rotation, you know, we were put together with bum gum and bubble gum and you know what else, but those guys just found a way to get the job done between, you know, Cody Allen, obviously Andrew Miller, what Corey Kluber was able to do, Josh Tomlin, what he was able to do, Brian Shaw. You know, that group found a way to get it done.
1-1 count on Brandon Lau, a former Tampa Bay product. So when the Pirates made that trade, when they went and got Chris Archer from Tampa, they gave up Tyler Glasnow, Shane Baz, and Austin Meadows. And Archer went 6-12 with a 4.92 ERA and 33 starts for Pittsburgh. So it didn't work out for them.
You go for the trade like that, you give up that prospect capital, and that's where it could potentially set your organization back a few years because you went for it and it didn't work.
Tampa flipped Glasnow for Ryan Pepio. Shane Baz netted them 4 prospects that are in their minor leagues right now, and Austin Meadows netted them Isaac Paredes. Swing and a miss. Will Dion with a very good 1-2-3 8th inning. Strikes out Lau. Out of the 8th inning. Time is running out for Cleveland. They've had 2 opportunities in this game. And back-to-back singles in the 3rd inning, but could not convert. They had 2 singles, or they had a single and a double in the 7th inning. The double came with 2 outs, but again, could not get the big hit to get on the board. So they're down 3. Stephen Kwan leading off here in the bottom of the 8th, and Brandon Neisert back out here for Pittsburgh, and a first pitch strike to Kwan. Kwan singled in the 3rd inning. He's hit in 5 straight and hitting well over 350 in the month of July. So he has found his offensive momentum, and he's got another hit. Bangs it straight back up the middle. And Kwan with a multi-hit performance. 2 hits earlier today, 2 more hits tonight. And that's our Chevy drive of the game. Stephen Kwan just been textbook, Chris.
He really has, and boy, has it come at the right time. I'm sure that's taken a load of pressure off of his back. He's just getting back to being the guy that we've seen him be for 4 years now.
Now Travis Bazzana, he's been on all 3 times tonight. 2 walks and a single. That's the 6th game that he has had this year in which he has walked 2 or more times. And takes that foul. Meta cracked the bat. He's going to check it. Yep, it's got a fracture in it. He'll go get a new bat. And while he does that, we can talk about the fact that normally when this club draws walks, they convert. And Bazana walking twice tonight. David Fry walked back in the second inning, but they have not. 2 double play balls.
Right.
2 of those walks were immediately followed by double play balls.
Again, I mean, hitting's difficult. I'm not sitting here trying to make excuses in any way, shape, or form, but you have to, when you're a team like this that can't necessarily rely on that big 2 or 3 run homer, you got to find ways to continue to put pressure on the opposing pitching staff.
Chased one in the dirt, and Bazana is out number 1. Second strikeout for Iser. And now Brian Rocchio 0 for 3. We showed video earlier. Jose Ramirez taking ground balls, working out with the club. He looks like he's chomping at the bit, sure, and ready to get back out there. Line drive and a base hit for Rocchio. Juan will stop at second. He had to make sure that Lau didn't leap in the air and snag that and turn it into a double play. So he wasn't able to get a head start, but he's in scoring position.
Well, he did a good job of immediately turning around, seeing where Brandon Lau was, freezing and almost going back to the bag. You can see him take that 2 or 3 steps back to the bag just to make sure. And that ball was just out of the reach there of Brandon Lau. Again, another quality at bat from Brian Rocchio. And now you find yourself in a situation here.
Again, Cleveland, one swing of the bat could even this game up. DeLauder has flied to deep center field and fairly deep center field. And he tops that one foul. And this is what you worry about. He hit this ball as hard as he could possibly hit a ball. Straight away center field. Everybody in the park thought it had a chance to get out of here, and the wind just knocked it straight down. And so what you don't want to see is like, well, now I need to get out of the hook. I got to pull it and stay out of that wind. And then you end up
rolling over something, especially against a guy like Iser. That's exactly what he's trying to get you to do right here. Good take. Again, that hole in the left side of the infield is wide open. Yes, I'm sure Chase DeLauder wants that 3-run homer right now. He wants one back from maybe the wind that took one away from him earlier in the game. But continuing to keep that line moving, a single right here, still scores a run and continues to put that pressure.
He lays off again. 2-2.
Well, how many times have you seen a lefty be a low ball hitter? Those numbers up above the strike zone. I know one of those there was a home run in Seattle that seemed almost improbable off a Senior Smoke at 98 up and away. But he can cover the plate.
2-2 pitch. Pirates have closer Gregory Soto getting hot in the bullpen. Don Kelly will not hesitate to go to him for a multi-inning performance here if he can secure the sweep.
And Soto's another guy that's had issues with walks in the past.
2-2. DeLauder, he got one upstairs and fouled it for a straight back.
I like that swing, though. That swing was more oriented towards center field. He didn't try to pull that baseball. He allowed that ball to travel a little bit. That, to me, hopefully is a sign of him being a little more aware or locked into that slider down and away.
Crowd of 32,997 sat through an hour and 15-minute rain delay at the outset. Two balls and two strikes with 2 on and 1 out, and it's in the dirt, full count.
Again, I'm not saying you want to necessarily bring the winning run potentially to the plate here, but you are going to be very smart with this pitch call here to Chase DeLauder, knowing you've got a young lefty on deck.
Bouncing ball right side. It's in the hole and through. Around third. Quan will score. On his way to third is Rocchio. Chase DeLauder threads the needle, and the Guardians are on the board.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And I do believe Ryan O'Hearn going for this baseball kind of shielded Brandon Lau from seeing the ball. Couldn't quite get there, and you could see both those guys were in the right area. But I think O'Hearn sticking his glove out is ultimately what allowed Lau not to see that baseball.
Don Kelly in the Pirate dugout mulling it over with his bench coach. Does he go get him now? Christopher Negron and Kelly are talking it over, and he is going to make the move. He's going to go to his closer in search of a 5-out save to try and sweep the day-night doubleheader. The Guardians are closing in. They've got a runner at third. The tying run is at first. And now the go-ahead run is coming to the plate in the form of Khalil Watson. Kelly yet to make the move. But he may be just stalling to give Soto a little extra time, and there he makes the wave. Isert out, Soto in. We'll be right back. Getting on the board here in the 8th inning thanks to back-to-back hits. They've had 3 hits in the inning. And now Pittsburgh goes to their closer, Gregory Soto. Up and down kind of year for Soto. At times dominant. At times wild. At times erratic. He'll be facing Khalil Watson with runners at first and third and 1 out.
Well, that's kind of been the story of Gregory Soto's career.
Gabby Arias is in the on-deck circle. Watson is at the plate. Fly to center is only time up. DeLauder an aggressive lead at first, does not run, a huge swing and a miss for strike 1.
Well, for Khalil Watson, this is one of the first opportunities he's had to be in a situation like this, where the pressure in this situation is on Soto. You have to make him come to you.
He missed inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And again, you see Chase DeLauder kind of hopping around over there. I wouldn't be shocked to see him take off, just given the situation. Would be his first attempt versus a lefty this year.
He's running. It goes to the backstop. Coming home to score is Rocchio. 1-run game. DeLauder all the way to third.
Well, he picked the right time to take off. That was the perfect situation for him to vacate first base. And what did we say? Gregory Soto can be wild. Very tough if you're Flores Jr. right there to corral that at 98 miles an hour. And because Chase DeLauder took off, he was able to get to third base now with 1 out, forcing the Pirates to bring the infield in.
2-1 count for Watson. Line drive, base hit, tie game.
Well, that's a great job by a young hitter, getting himself into a quality count. Again, was not hit the hardest, broke his bat, But knowing that infield's in, you get something up and in right there. He's just able to keep this thing just enough off the label of the bat to get it over and into the outfield and tie this ball game up.
And now Watson with his wheels digging in. He might be off to the races. Schneemann steps in. Arias had been in the on-deck circle, but they pulled him back. And Schneemann takes ball one. And that one just did find the mark. 1 ball and 1 strike.
In another scenario for Khalil Watson, get yourself a lead and you're off to the races.
Schneemann takes it's low and away. 2 balls and a strike. Soto, the Pirates closer, entering the game. A wild pitch and then a base hit. So 2 inherited runs have come in to score. And now the go-ahead run at first, and Watson has Soto's full attention as he stepped off the rubber. Khalil has a very big lead at first. He's running. Pitch is low. Throw down. Into center field. Watson tried to get up. He was claiming that maybe he was bumped into by the shortstop Triolo. Alan Porter did not bite. It's a stolen base for Watson. Vogt's going to come out and give Alan Porter a piece of his mind and tell him what he thought. It did look like there was contact.
It certainly did. Now, I think Vogt's right to come out here and at least get an explanation from Alan Porter. But Alan Porter was on that from the beginning, saying no dice. But now Khalil Watson finds himself in scoring position.
I think Alan Porter was right. It was not obstruction. It was just kind of almost incidental contact.
Correct.
If anything, yeah, it looked like Khalil just tripped over the base. Hey, bottom line is he's in scoring position. Popped up back of the plate into the seats. For Khalil Watson, his 9th stolen base of the year, 2nd stolen base of the inning for Cleveland. And if they don't pay real close attention to him, he can swipe third. Obviously, it's a lot more difficult with a left-handed hitter up there. Three balls and 2 strikes with Kyle Manzardo waiting on deck. In the dirt, ball 4, and Soto has given up a walk, a hit. He's thrown the wild pitch, and now Kyle Manzardo coming to the plate. Still only 1 out in the inning. Manzardo struck out in the 7th. Bill Murphy, the pitching coach, figures I've got to go out and try to slow this down, maybe change the momentum. If he was walking any slower, he'd be going backwards. What a turn of events for Cleveland here in the 8th inning. It started with a Stephen Kwan single. He had 2 hits earlier today in game 1 of the doubleheader. 2 more hits tonight. And then Brian Rocchio, line drive single. Chase DeLauder knocked in a run with a base hit. Then the stolen base, the wild pitch. Another RBI hit, and now a walk. And Kyle Manzardo with a chance to do some damage. Cade Smith, he's ready. Should the Guardians take the lead, he's ready to convert the save. If it stays tied,
he's
he'll
still probably coming out
and try to keep it a tie game. Manzardo ready. And he was way out in front of that off-speed pitch. The clock has struck 11 p.m. And the 0-1. Again, way out in front of it. He's almost jumping out of the batter's box trying to get to that ball.
And he's trying to get himself to that fastball. You can see him trying desperately to get the head out. And the bottom just falls out of it.
Struck him out. 2 down. He stayed right with it, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, you're expanding the strike zone there if you're Soto. He did a good job of keeping this ball below the zone. Kyle never got that fastball he was looking to hit.
And now Gabriel Arias will pinch hit for Petey Halpin. Away, and both runners advance. Watson down to third. Schneemann to second. Second wild pitch of the inning for Gregory Soto.
Again, we mentioned he can be wild, and this is a lot of fun if you're a catcher. That's a pulled fastball at 100 in the dirt.
The Guardians have exhausted their bench. Arias was the last man left. And the 1-0 up and away. 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, Arias has to lock in on a fastball in his zone right here. He is so good, or has shown when he is good, he is utilizing that right center field gap. Soto will give you a pitch to hit out there. Again, that's one of those scenarios where it's a 2-0 pitch. I'm swinging the bat. He's got to find a way to lock himself in and be a tougher at bat up there.
The 2-2 pitch. And he struck him out. So back-to-back strikeouts kill the rally here in the 8th. But the Guardians get up off the deck. They score 3 times on 4 hits. And we are deadlocked headed to the 9th. Ninth inning here in Cleveland. And the Pirates and Guardians deadlocked at 3. Pittsburgh won earlier today. Guardians trying to split the doubleheader with the series finale tomorrow afternoon. Right now it's up to Cade Smith to try to force this game into extra innings. It's 3-3, and he'll have the bottom part of the order. But after Rafael Flores, the catcher, he's going to get a pinch hitter. Jacob Gonzalez has moved to the on-deck circle for Pittsburgh. Flores has walked twice and has flied to center. Cade Smith coming off a dominant performance in the All-Star game. There's a new look at the Guardians defense with Arias taking over third and Daniel Schneemann going to center. And it's 3-0. Found the mark.
Looked like he stayed behind that one a little bit more, and now you hope he can figure that out and repeat.
Hop back into the seats. Full count. Tried to hold up, he went, and Cade Smith came back from a 3-0 count to strike him out. One down here in the top half of the ninth.
This is a good old-fashioned angry fastball up and in. Flores was not able to hold up. That's what 98 will do to you.
Jacob Gonzalez pinch hitting. Earlier today, the former White Sox infielder hit a 2-run homer that started the scoring for Pittsburgh, and then they later added a single. To say that he has been a welcome addition to the Pirates club is an understatement. The perfect fit with the injury to Connor Griffin, keeping him sidelined. They needed a shortstop, somebody that could step in there and give them some offense at the same time. And Gonzalez basically was the kind of the odd man out with the White Sox. Swing and a miss. Cade Smith chucked the fastball by him at 98. 2 down.
Now this is good afternoon. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night right here. Tested him with the split twice and then just went right after him with the 4-seam fastball. Perfect height there.
And a splitter just danced over the outside corner for strike one. Jake Mangum's going, wait, what was that?
Bryce Harper said it right during the All-Star game. That's disgusting.
And swing and a miss and another one. 0-2. Well, if Cade can keep it right here, you're looking at the bottom of the ninth with Patrick Bailey, Stephen Kwan, and Travis Pizzana. Dennis Santana looks like he'll be coming on for Pittsburgh. Right-hander up and ready in the bullpen. Pirates have no lefties left. They've used both already. Weak ground ball to second. Pizzana throws him out. Cade Smith with a 1-2-3 top half of the ninth. And now we'll see if the Guardians can rally for the winning run tonight. And Dennis Santana coming on for Pittsburgh. 43rd appearance of the year.
Well, he's had better years, to say the least. This has been a rough go at it this season. This was the Pirates closer last year, had 16 saves.
He's been around the block and then some.
Initially came up with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Had him over there as a young player.
Patrick Bailey leads it off for Cleveland. Takes outside ball one. In addition to the Dodgers, a couple years with the Rangers, Yankees, Mets, and Pittsburgh. Broken bat, and busted in 2 and never left home plate. Usually when the barrel snaps, it goes somewhere down the line. That one just stopped right at home plate. Look where this thing snapped. It's right above his hands.
Yeah, it didn't look like he got it that far down either on the barrel there.
Now you can kill a vampire with that, but it doesn't do you a lot of good in this situation facing Dennis Santana. Bailey struck out as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning. He's still
another
cleaning up
couple
shrapnel. A little too big for a toothpick. The 1-1. Back out of play. Dennis Santana, 30 years old, made his debut when he was 22 with those Dodgers in 2018. Base hit right field. Patrick Bailey gets it started for Cleveland.
Well, that's the start you're looking for. And now you've got one of the hottest hitters on the team coming up to the plate. Here's the conundrum, though.
You can't run for him.
Well,
and he's station to station for Bailey. Stephen Kwan, 2 hits tonight. He had 2 hits earlier today. He squared around and took a strike.
That was the conundrum, and I was answered. You just wonder if, they were willing to play knowing the top of the lineup's up, even though he's been so good today. It has drawn that third baseman in.
Now it's 0-2. Gonzalez backs up at third. He bloops it into left field, base hit, down the line it goes. Reynolds gives chase. Bailey digging for third. They're going to wave him home. Walk. And they got him at the plate. Oh, what a tag. Bailey, remember earlier this year in Chicago, he scored standing. He did not slide. He was trying to do it again. But give Flores credit. A terrific job of somehow slapping the tag on him.
Well, Gonzalez ended up taking that ball at third base and making the relay throw as Reynolds overthrew Gonzalez at short. And you can see this ball goes over Gonzalez to Gonzalez, and he turns around. Wow. And makes a fantastic throw, but an even better pick there.
Look at the timing of that. Bailey literally ran into his
right into it. And I don't even know if he slides if he say he might be, but
again, this is what he did in Chicago. He did not slide.
This is a
and it worked out perfectly.
Pick.
This time it blows up in his face.
Well, the pick here, check the pick out. This is a great job. But look at Travis Bazzana telling him, you got to get down to the outside part of the plate.
And now Travis Bazzana will try to end it with a base hit. Stephen Kwan, a 3-hit night. He's the winning run at second base. Bazzana. Drive to deep center. Mangum back on the track. He's out of room. We're out of here.
That's what he's going to remember right there for the rest of his life. First career walk-off home run, and boy, did he get every bit of that ball.
A stunning defeat for Pittsburgh. A resurrecting win for Cleveland. Series even at a game apiece. The rubber match tomorrow afternoon. It was 3-0 Pittsburgh going into the bottom of the 8th, and the Guardians had shown little signs of life offensively. But they turned it around with 3 runs in the 8th to tie it, and Bazzana walks them off in the bottom of the 9th.
God, what a swing. What a swing.
Four nights ago, Travis Bazzana was starring in the All-Star game.